Hello again, guys. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the P-38K. This is a rank 4 premium aircraft in the American tree, and this aircraft comes for sale usually once a year. Sometimes you'll see it more than once, but almost always comes for sale around the 4th of July. Celebrating American Independence Day, so I guess they usually put out a few American aircraft, and this is one of them. This one you don't see very often in the game. It's kind of a fun plane. And before I go into this, I just want to say one thing, guys. If I can't give you good advice, if I can't fly a plane to its potential, then I'm not going to give you guys a tutorial. I'm not going to give you guys tips, and I'm certainly not going to sit there and bash the plane because I don't know how to fly it. And unfortunately, that is why I'm making this video right now, because there is a certain YouTuber right now, and you know, I was going to name drop, but I'm going to leave it because I think everybody knows. It's the same reason I made the Valtour video. This certain YouTuber is bashing aircraft and giving horrible advice, or just saying that the aircraft sucks because they don't know how to fly it. And I'm getting tired of that, guys. And the sad thing is that person has 15,000 more subs than I do, and this is what I have to compete against. It's really frustrating. So I'm here to set the record straight. This is the P-38K. It is not an amazing plane, but it has a few things that make it an untouchable plane, at least in the defensive posture. Now, offense, you're going to have issues. We'll go into that a little bit deeper. But for now, let's just talk about the plane. So what is this? This is basically a P-38G. The major difference is this one came with the Allison 12-cylinder engines, which put out over 1,800 horsepower apiece. They also threw on the same propellers that are used on the P-47, another great high-altitude fighter. So you got good power, you got a good prop, on kind of a weak airframe, so that's where the downside of this aircraft comes in. But overall, this thing is a high-altitude monster, and there's not much that can catch it. Level flight above 5K, there is not a single German aircraft that can keep up with this thing. The acceleration is godlike. But the downfall of having the old school G model airframe is it does not have a high rip speed. It really can't tolerate high speeds at all. So where people usually get themselves in trouble is if there's, say, a K4 or 109 of any sort above you, and he dives on you, you're not going to be able to get away because he is actually faster than you in a dive. The only way to get away is straight and level, or by going up. This thing's very good at up, but then again, if you do not have the energy advantage and that guy is above you, you will be in trouble. So that's what I'm going to warn you about, guys, and that is the limitations of this airframe. So Gaijin did something different with this one, and I think it was kind of a lazy implementation, but rip speed should be dependent on IAS, but in the case of this aircraft, it's actually dependent on Mach speed. They did this weird thing. So it's rip speed when you're up really high. I mean, it'll be as low as 500 indicated airspeed, 500 kilometers an hour indicated. And that really ain't right, but I'll quote this one. This is coming from a moderator on the War Thunder forums. He says, past Mach 0.075, the plane would nose down without any means for the pilot to recover unless air brakes were installed. Of course, this plane doesn't have air brakes. Cutting the engine would not help nor allow the plane to recover. He said the proper way of modeling this is to not make it the wings rip past the speed, but to make the plane uncontrollable, dipping the nose down, and the wings will rip sometime after due to overspeed anyways. Is it realistic? No. But either way, you'd be dead. So they just kind of saved you from the prolonged death, I guess. So I don't really agree with it the way it's modeled. It's definitely wrong, but performance-wise, the aircraft is what it should be. So in general, the P-38s, the early war P-38s, they definitely had issues with uncontrollable dives where it would actually kill the pilot. So it is realistic, sorta. But anyways, let's talk about how to fly the plane. So you'll notice right off the bat, if you climb in this plane, you will be above anybody that you face right off the bat. There's nothing that can keep up with this plane in a climb. So you'll be above the K4s, you'll be above the TAs, etc. Now, if you're fighting between 5K, 6K, and borderline 7 kilometers high, the K4, the Ta 152H, they're going to outturn you but you still have more power. So you really don't want to get engaged in a turn fight with this plane. It's just not a real smart idea. Down low, it actually turns pretty well, and you can fight pretty much any plane you come across, especially with this power that it has. But here's a classic example right here. This is what I find myself in a lot. But this is a 109K4 behind me, and I'm trying to sort of energy trap him, but I'm not really comfortable with the distance right now, so I don't really want to pull straight up yet. So I just drop my nose, and if you look, we start pulling away from him pretty quick. You can't catch me. He's going to lob a few bullets at me and be kind of annoying, but he can't catch me. So I just kind of continue to climb at this rate. The higher I go, the more I outperform him. This thing is amazing, even up at 9K, 10K if you want to go that high, but I don't want to, you know, breed passive gameplay, but it requires a little bit of patience. But we see the guy's giving up, he's turning off now, so I'm going to turn back in. I'm just going to keep this altitude so I don't get myself in a bad situation. Now this aircraft, it loves the use of flaps. Flaps are huge. So I look around, I see this guy's turning back towards me, and he disappears, but I'm looking at his dot and I see he's pulling straight up on me. Now this is classic. You should be salivating if you were in a P-38K and you see something like this right now. This guy's pulling straight up on me. I already know he doesn't have the energy to even come close. So we bait him up a little bit. It sucks that I can't spot his distance, but he's pretty close to stalling out. So we pop the landing flaps, roll back over, and drop down on top of him. And unfortunately the distance was a little bit more than I had expected. I thought he was going to be a little closer, so it kind of makes it a pain in the butt. I can't get him on this pass, and this is a downfall of this plane right here. This E-model airframe has issues making turns at a high speed. And here it is. Here's your reduced speed right here. At 5K, I'm getting 600 kilometers an hour reduced speed. And if I kept going down, my wings would rip. So, got to go back up. And here it is. This is what the P-38K is so amazing at. So I'm just taking him into a spiral climb right here. He is going to stall out under me. He's lobbing his bullets. He's trying hard. He's trying hard. He is stalled right now. Flip the wings over. Landing flaps out. Bring it on back down. He's going to be right in front of my guns. This right here. This is why the P-38K is fun. Now, bear with me. I fly a lot of jets, so my prop aim is really bad. I overlead. But that right there, that's fun. So now we're continuing on. This is actually the first match that we opened up, and this is basically the last half of it. We dove down from space pretty much. So we had a ton of airspeed built up. This guy did too, but he made one turn, so he lost a little bit. But look at it, down here on the deck, this plane is amazing down here. And look at this, I'm turn fighting a K4 now. I'm in the ideal situation to turn fight him, but you know, that's a powerhouse of a plane, and it turns really good, yet I'm really not having any issue with this guy. Using the combat flaps, I've made 3-4 turns now, and I'm still doing almost 400 kilometers an hour. I don't care what this said YouTuber said. This plane doesn't suck. It really doesn't. It's got some issues. Obviously, we've talked about that. I have troubles aiming. That doesn't mean the plane sucks. So we got two more over here. Let's go check it out and see. Thanks to the miracles of video editing, we have now jumped forward in time. This guy decides to take a head on. I really don't want anything of it, but he managed to get a hit on me. This guy's not paying attention. He goes vertical in front of me, and I'm out of 20 mils. That kind of sucks. 20 mils do the most damage in this plane. I'm not a big fan of the 50 cals, but they actually still work. I use ground targets. For the 20 mils, I use, what are they? Air targets. Look at this. I go straight up and I come back down. There's nothing that can touch this plane. Granted, he's running now, but he's not getting away. Look at how fast I'm catching him. This plane's a beast. It really is. It requires patience. It requires a little bit of skill. You're not going to enjoy it right off the bat. When this plane first came out, it was a bit of a glass cannon, and it actually fell apart very easily. The slightest hit would kill it. But in recent patches, they've buffed damage models, so thankfully now this plane is a little bit more durable. So if there's anything that I give you guys to remember about this aircraft is to try and stay away from steep dives in this plane. The low rip speed will get you in trouble pretty quick. Now if you're going to make approaches on aircraft, make them at a shallow angle. If anything, make them from underneath the aircraft, that way you can go up. They won't be able to catch you if you started with a decent amount of energy. So the other thing is, the higher you are, the more you outperform the aircraft that you're facing. On top of that, always use your flaps. Combat flaps are good up to about 550 kilometers an hour, and when you get down below about 350, you can tap into the landing flaps. Now they'll actually rip if you keep them out above, say, 250, but you can use them for that initial boost. But needless to say, I'm pretty doomed on this match. This guy had been lurking under me. He wasn't ready for me to dive on him, so I went ahead and took a pass, and I still got 3 aircraft behind me. One of them's a Ta-152H, which is a very scary aircraft to fight, so I know that I need to get myself some separation from all 3 of these guys. The Zero's not going to be able to really keep up with me. The Ta has great energy retention, so it is going to prove to be the most dangerous plane to fight, so I want to fight him first. Everyone knows who FMT is by now. He's been lurking behind me in the JU-288, and that aircraft is fast. I'm actually surprised how well he did up here at this altitude, but either way, I'm pretty much doomed, so I'm going to try my hardest. This will end up being one of the longest dogfights I've been in quite a while. It's against this Ta-152. The Zero, he bugged out, and then FMT just kind of toyed with me, I guess you could say. I didn't really want to fight him. I didn't want to waste my energy on him, and he's a nice guy. I mean, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he didn't give me much room to play. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. Finally got the separation that I needed between the guys. The Zero is not going to be able to touch me at this altitude, and FMT is a bomber, so we go after the Ta-152H, and I decide that, hell, I'm pretty much toast anyways. I'm not going to win this match because I don't have a team left. So I decide to get busy with the Ta-152. So I take advantage of my power. We're going up, and this frustrates the hell out of me. I really should have had him right here, but I was going a little bit too slow to get my guns on. I'm not going to narrate too much more of this fight, guys. I hope you're going to learn a little something from this video. As always, this was a lot of fun. This is a perfect example of how much power this aircraft has. And at the same time, it's a perfect example of how bad my aim can be at times. Really should have had this guy. I did lose this fight, but it is well worth watching. At least I had a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you around in the next video. I think the next thing you're going to see from me is going to be the MiG-19S from the German tree. Later, guys.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do, what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side.